Ladies and gentlemen, it's so good to have you guys. I'm your host, David, and welcome to another episode of Live, Laugh, and Love. This is the eighth episode. We've managed to make eight episodes, and we're nearing to the end of our season here. Just want to say thank you so much for all the love since day one. It's been amazing. I loved having the conversations with you. It's been so fun interacting with everybody, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting this podcast. In today's episode, we have someone who is a talented musician, someone who is just just she is so talented in playing the different instruments she plays. She is a down to the earth person. She is religious. She is, oh my god, like she is like somebody that if you have a problem, you want to talk to her. Uh, Victoria, how are you doing? Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
It is. I am doing good. Thank you for asking. Well, to be fair, it is raining right now, so I can't say that I'm really happy. I'm a sunny person, but still, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So, how's life, Victoria?
I would say with IP, it's pretty rough with, organizing like everything else, especially
Mm-hmm.
with bands since,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in three for Battle of the Bands, and then like, there's another band outside, but also, managing your schoolwork and everything else, your cast. Yeah, it's pretty rough, but once you start to get the hang of it, it gets easier.
Yeah, totally, totally. I just want to start straight away with these questions. Okay, Vic, I know you're in three bands, right? I don't have no clue. Like, if I was a musician, I wouldn't do three bands in the first place. I just want to know, like, what made you like be part of three bands? Like, is it just because you wanted to play music a lot, or is it because people wanted to recruit you because you're talented? Why are you doing three bands, Vic?
I would say it's out of passion. Well, it's pretty hard
Mm,
being in three bands because, there's management skills. But
mm-hmm.
I would say it's out of passion because for each band, there's different people. And with different people, you play like different things, you experience different things, different conversations. And so, I enjoy it a lot.
That's pretty cool. What are the many instruments you play, Vic?
Well, I play bass mainly, and I play piano and a little bit of guitar and ukulele. And
Ukulele. That's cool.
yeah, and then drums. Yeah,
Oh, you play the drums too?
yeah, I play drums too.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah,
You're like a utility player. Whenever they need to put you somewhere, they could just slot you right in.
yeah.
Awesome. Vic, I want to talk more about like this music stuff. I just want to know like what do you feel when you're performing in front of the crowd? Because I know from personal experience it is challenging up there. Like if you're on the stage performing, being confident, it's a pretty tough thing to do. I want to know how do you mentally prepare yourself through, you know, through these performances where you want to have fun, but it's just that you're really anxious and worried.
Well, stage fright is always my number one, and always will be. Like when people ask me if I have stage fright or not, I always say it gets really bad, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I moved to BIS because of its music culture. And so I was like, I'm going to get rid of it, my stage fright. And so
Mm,
Battle of the Bands, like my first ever Battle of the Bands, I was like so scared, but I feel like the moment I get on stage, it's just so like everything just stops, and then like there's a lot of
mm,
adrenaline, like there's an adrenaline rush and everything. That's what I feel. But before that, I get
mm.
like really scared, really nervous. But the moment I step on, it's just gets quiet, and then like I could play like passionately.
That's pretty amazing. You're facing your fears, which is an amazing thing. Vic, whilst we're talking about this ideas of fears, I want to know what fears do you have apart from now you don't. Well, I guess you're minimizing the stage fright, but what other things are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of not achieving to my fullest potential. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Mm,
And also, if we're talking about like Normal fears, I would say bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah. Mhm.
I can relate to all of those things. I don't like bugs, and I am also afraid of achieving my potential.
Yeah.
Whilst we're talking about this idea, this is a really good segue. Um, so, in life, things don't go, how it should be, and there's things that go up and down. I want to know, like, has there been a moment in your life where you've expected more out of you, but you didn't achieve that potential? And I also want to know, how did you overcome that, and like, how did you just change your mentality going forward after that event?
Well, it's kind of related to music, but
Mm-hmm.
before for international battle of bands, it was like my first ever like international because after you win, you get into another battle of bands, which is the international one. And so I was really scared because you were competing against like really, really, really good people. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but we ended up losing, and from then after there, I wanted to quit, but I couldn't because music is everything to me, so I can't really do that. And so
Exactly.
I told myself like, hey, if you're still dedicated, just keep working to it, and if you don't, that's okay. You get other opportunities as well. And so yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Good for you for not giving up.
Hmm.
Vic, I also want to, whilst we're talking about this idea of, giving up, I also wanted to ask you, has there been, aside from music, right? Has there been moments in time where you felt that, that stage fright thing has affected you quite a lot? And could you also explain what situation were you in? Like, was it something that you couldn't move, or you were just breathing uncomfortably? And how was it like just overcoming that? Because you mentioned early on that you're trying to work on trying to fix it. Just want to know, what were the effects of that?
Well, I used to get like a bit of panic attacks like before
Panic
music, like
attacks.
when I used to play piano, and I was scared that I will mess up, people are going to
Mm,
judge. And then it was just like I would just start shaking my hands. Like I wouldn't play properly at all. Like, you tend to mess up when you're on stage. And so, yeah, but I remember like giving a pep talk to like my first band. I was like, you know what, guys, like let's just go on there, play our hearts out. Like, if you mistake, just don't care about it at all. Like, just keep going.
just move
Like,
on.
just move on from it. Just yeah, just keep going. And yeah,
That's
that
really
that
cool.
helped.
Hmm. Do you also apply that like in your life overall, not just in music? For example, if it's like a test, if it's an assignment, if it's like a challenge that someone has asked you to do, is that how you attack these things?
Yeah, it's always like that because with me, I believe that there's no good without bad. And so whenever any problems occur, like I just tell myself, hey, this happens for a reason. Just get through with it. It's temporary. Everything's
Hmm.
temporary.
That's also something I also believe in. That's really important. Like, I also want to talk about this keyboard thing. By any what when did you start playing the piano?
When I was like 5, it was really young. Like I got forced by
Five.
my parents. Yeah.
Is there like how good is your piano skills? Because I cannot play the piano at all.
Well, I used to be like pretty good with classical music, but
Hmm.
now I stopped playing all of that. I stopped lessons and everything for like 5 years now. And
I
so
see.
I can just play chords and then sometimes like just jam around with my friends.
Mm, cool, cool. That's also a really good point because I never I from usually like students in our school when they play music, they're playing classical music, but not a lot of the students are playing. I haven't had the idea of classical music, then transition into like what you do, rock music, etc.
Yeah.
I just want to know, when did that shift happen?
Honestly, when I first played drums, I liked
Hmm.
it, but I felt like, hey, I like this music, but I don't really like this style of playing because when you play drums on stage, you cannot move. For me, I like
Hmm.
to engage with the audience. And so I was
Mm,
just like looking through like bands and everything. And then I saw like, this guy called Cliff Burden. He's from Metallica. He played
mhm,
bass and he played like an amazing solo. I was like, I want to play like that. And so I was practicing bass on a ukulele because it was quarantine, and so
mhm,
I practiced for like a month, until like I got on my first bass. And
Mm,
then after I got my first bass, I was just playing nonstop. Like I loved it. Like my first performance and everything too was so good. Yeah.
that's so cool. I would also assume that you also play the bass to like reduce stress. Like you just play your heart out just to get your mind
Yeah.
clear. Is that also cool?
It's more
Cool.
of wait. Also, I get stressed while playing the bass as
Oh,
well
okay.
because
Okay.
it gets to a point where you don't play for fun, but you also play to compete as well. And so
Mm,
that also gets you a bit stressed. But the moment that you release everything is when I go on stage. Like you build up all
mm.
that tension just to release it on stage. It's yeah,
And it
it's like
feels good.
yeah, it feels good.
I see. I see. Is there like I would assume that there's also a mentality change from let's just like vibing around and jamming with like fellow bandmates
Yeah,
to actually performing on stage. How
yeah.
is everybody like? How do you like control your mentality? Because I don't have a really strong poker face. I'm not really good at controlling my emotions. I just want to know how do you transition from okay guys we're having fun to okay guys it's actually showtime.
Well, I would say in my band, like there's also a really close bond, like really
Mm,
close friendship, like I say, like with Lobster Bisque. And so we know when to be serious and when to jam around and have fun. And
I
especially
see.
before we go on stage, we just give each other a talk. Like we talk to each other and be like, hey, we're going to do it. Like we can do this. And then just go on there, showtime.
Cool, cool. Can you share any like funny moments you had whilst like on performance or during practice with your bands that you want to share with us?
Well, let me think. um, I would say the most funniest things was when basically during Live Aid, we like out of nowhere, we were just in the middle of performing. Right after that, they were like, "You're gonna play Hotel California." We did not learn the song. The whole band did not learn the song. We don't know the
Okay.
song, and so we had a music stand with one tiny phone, and we were looking at the chords. And then
Oh my
we
god.
just yeah, we invited everyone on stage just so they could like, just have fun and everything, like play percussion and everything. But oh my gosh, that was so stressful. Like I was just looking through the chords. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't learn the song. We didn't learn the song. We're just, like, are we gonna pull it? But yeah, we did pull it. And then the keyboard ended up playing the guitar solo in a guitar sound instead of the guitar stuff.
I
Yeah, it
see.
was crazy. Yeah,
Must have been a chaotic experience, but it seems like it was full of fun.
yeah.
Absolutely. I also want to briefly talk about this. Do you by any chance also produce your own music?
Well, I tried to. Well,
Okay.
I did for IGCSE. I had like one classical piece and then one bossa nova jazz piece, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't to my fullest potential. But I would say I'm working on. This is kind of private. I cannot share anything else, but I would say I'm working on a metal song with another
Mm-hmm.
band outside of school.
Is this the first time you've said it publicly?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god. Victoria just shared us with some very, very important information. How's that going, by
Mhm.
the way? Is it good? Because it's going to be amazing. I have a feeling it's going to be really fun. Is
Well,
it?
we haven't had our first meeting yet, but I already
Yep.
wrote my a
Okay.
bass riff. But we're gonna meet like
Amazing.
on Sunday. Yeah,
Amazing. I look forward to that if it does come out.
yeah.
Because I also produce my music, but it is horrendous what I do. And but like, to be fair, right? I'm also working on my producing skills. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
it'll be really fun to learn from you too.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I also want to talk about your personal life. Like, what do you do outside the school, the music? What is something that you just do that people might not know that you might actually do?
Well, I try like I'm really strong on personal development.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, recently I've been trying to balance out my life. Like usually before I would still gym and everything. I would
Mm-hmm.
have my Prime business, like I resell Prime and everything.
Yeah.
I try to find new hobbies or new side hustles to do with making money and everything. But right now I'm trying to focus on my life, like more of
Mm-hmm.
like trying to reduce screen time because I have a problem with Instagram Reels, and I know that a lot of people have problems with Instagram Reels too, or like TikTok, like doom scrolling.
Mm,
And like it's just every time I do it, I feel like it's so draining afterwards, and I'm just like I
mm.
just beat myself up for it. And so I'm planning, like I've been planning to delete Instagram, but also because I
Oh
have my
wow.
business on there, I don't want to, like like disconnect with everything. And so I'm trying to find ways, and then I try to read as well. Like
Mm,
it's so
that's
hard to
pretty
get me to read, but I try to,
cool.
you know.
I see. Yeah, doom scrolling's a big problem. Like I
Mm,
know like a lot of people around me are on their Instagram reels, on their TikToks,
yeah,
on their YouTube shorts. Yeah, it's. Do you believe that that's also affecting like your like well being too? Like you also mentioned how you feel drained after. Do you think that also
yeah.
contributes to your sleep, and you think it's just a bad thing?
I feel like
Mm,
it affects a lot, especially with my concentration level. Like because the reels that you watch is so short, you're so used to seeing like, a lot of content in like a short amount of time. It affects
mm,
your brain, and you can't really, focus in school or like other things for like, more than an hour. Is like, yeah, it gets draining.
that's true. That's also true. But you also have like the prime business you mentioned, right?
Hmm.
Do you how often is that going on? Because I know that you are very passionate in business management and you aspire to become someone starting business management. I just want to know like how big is this business you're working? Is it like day-to-day activity or is it something you just check on often? I want to know.
I
What's it
feel
like?
like before, when I had stock, it was pretty, like it was going like every day and everything. I was making sales, but
Mm-hmm.
because it was summer holiday, I was away. And
Mm,
then because like there's, recession going on, like there's not much shipping going on around, and so I can't really import stuff in a big amount, which is cheap, and so I'm waiting for the perfect moment where I could ship a lot of stock into. So
mm,
rather just not do anything, I'm working on like a business plan right now to
mm-hmm.
maybe like have partnership with, someone outside of school.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Must be a lot of like must be a lot of stress and fun at the same time because I know
Yeah.
like you're really passionate about this business thing, but seeing how you're trying to you're struggling with the economy right now and just trying to bring things in and writing a business plan, it must be stressful, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of work as well. Yeah.
I see. Is it just you who's doing it and you're just managing the social media account?
Yeah, it's just me at the moment, but
Mm,
I might have to bring like another person. Like I have another
mm,
person, but I cannot specify who because it's private.
I
But
see.
yeah,
Okay, that's fair enough.
yeah.
Do you by any chance only do like prime stuff or do you do like other stuff that people might not?
Well, before I have done crypto, but since it's
Crypto.
is yeah, it's
Oof.
like I know it's so risky, but right,
Crypto.
yeah, right now it's a gray area in
Hmm.
it's in Vietnam because it's not really illegal or illegal, and so I can't really do that. But before I was learning a lot of stuff on YouTube and everything, taking notes,
Hmm.
but I kind of left that off ever since I had the Prime thing. And so I want to focus on my Prime thing first and then just do a little bit of studying here and there. And then when I'm confident enough, I can jump back into it.
Crypto. When was crypto? Like when was this crypto thing going on? By the way.
I think like last year, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Oh my God, your crypto business, music. That's
Yeah.
a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Do you do like stocks by any chance, or is that like something you cannot do in Vietnam?
Um, I think that's my mom. I could ask her to
I
teach
see.
me, honestly. Yeah.
Mm, I see. Fair enough. Vic, I want to talk about more of your like social life in school.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that you're really popular among students, but I just want to know, do you think popularity is the most important thing, or do you think it's more about you being self-confident that's the most important thing? Because I know a lot of friends around our school that think they're not popular, or they are popular, etc. But they have different values that they've said. For example, some students said that it's more about having a smaller friend group that matters, someone who's there for you, or someone who's
Mm.
there to chat to you. I just want to know if you could describe your social life, how would you describe it?
I would say it's really closed, even though I put
Mm-hmm.
myself out there on the stage and everything. Like I know people in that, but when it comes to, serious stuff, you realize there's only a few people that are actually there for you. And that's when you know how
Mm-hmm.
to value them and keep them close. Because, a lot of people, either younger or older, around our age, they value popularity and clout and, just that more than, actual morals, which is like having friends who are actually there for you, like quality friends, quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
well said. Want to build up on this idea. Do you think that it is in a world where we're getting older now? Do you think it's harder to make these quality friends?
This, I would say, is way, way, way harder because I remember
Mm,
when I was like a kid, you would make friends with everyone in your path. But now, as like when you're growing, there's going to be judgment, jealousy, envy. There's so much
mm.
factors to it, and like it's really hard to have someone be there and like not stab you behind your back because it's really common nowadays.
It's hard to trust people in a world
Yeah,
that's well. I think you might also relate to this, but like as you get older, the world is not as bright as you think it was when you're a little 6 year
yeah,
old kid. You know.
yeah.
Hmm. Are you comfortable being alone with yourself? With like if there's so many people going, like if there's a large social gathering, are you okay with just being alone, or is that hard to? Is that something that you find difficult to do?
I would say before I would be really uncomfortable because I was used to, having my friends around me, but because most of my close friends they graduated and also my other close friends are in the younger years, I just find
Mm-hmm.
being alone, it's getting easier actually. It's getting kind of comforting.
I see. Because I would also want to ask, do you think like being alone itself is kind of like loving yourself and like just giving self respect? Do you think contributes to just being alone too?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Hmm. Has there been like an episode you can share that where you've learned something important by being alone, or you've noticed from backing out from like a social gathering and you've learned something about yourself?
Yeah, I would say there was like, there's big social gatherings
Mm-hmm.
and then like sometimes you realize that like, hey, I gotta disconnect from this because it's too much, or maybe like, these people are not for you. And so
Mm-hmm.
I learned about myself is that like, it's okay to be alone. And sometimes it will get easier day by day. Like it is hard because you're scared other people would judge you like, oh, she's a loner, this and that. But day by day, you're gonna realize like how comforting it will be, and you're gonna be fine with either with people or without people. You don't have to rely
Mm-hmm.
on people to make you happy.
That's well said too. Do you think peer pressure takes a big part in here too? Like you just go to a social gathering because you're pressured to go into it because you feel like you would be left out. Do you think that also takes a toll on like a lot of people at our age right now?
Yeah, peer pressure, I would say, is a major problem in my opinion because
Mm-hmm.
with us humans, we're designed to feel included. We always want to feel included, no matter if we say regardless, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, when you're with your friends, when they're doing something, of course, you would want to feel included. And so, I feel like peer pressure could be, a big, major thing where people would fall down the wrong path and would
Mm-hmm.
just, completely just destroy their life and everything.
I see. Has there been like a lesson you've learned from like like the part of like being alone, or it could be about the social gathering? Has there been something that you've like a big lesson that has taught you and it has still to this day positively benefited you that you could share with us?
I would say to always have your morals up very high, and that should be your
Mm,
number one priority because with like again with peer pressure it's really like it's weird, it's really powerful. And so if you have your guards and your morals up really high, you won't, like, no one will be able to break it or take it away from you, and thus you won't fall into that trap. And so that's why, I'm still clean and everything.
I see.
Yeah.
That's really deep.
Yeah, that's really deep.
That's pretty deep. I see. Vic, aside from this social gatherings, aside from like all the music, the business, do you do any sports by any chance?
Well, not really, but I gym. Like, I try to
Hmm.
gym like 3 times a week. That's like my favorite, like, active thing to do. But I recently signed up for softball because,
Yes,
yeah, I like softball. I like softball. It's like the one sport I actually have good experience in. So yeah,
I see. Yeah, I remember sharing the information to you, and you were like pretty hyped about it, and I was
yeah,
really happy because it was people were actually like they kind of looked forward to it. So I hope you have a really fun experience because we're starting next. By the time this is being posted, we would have started the week after. So yeah,
yeah,
hope you'll like it. Hopefully,
yeah.
one, I want to talk more about like the hobbies you do because you shared music, you shared business, you shared the gym, the softball. Is there something that you do by yourself that you want to share with us? Because I know you also like cooking, and you're in your
Oh
religion,
yeah.
you go to church every Sunday. Could you please share
Hmm.
anything you do that just makes you unique?
I would say, not a lot of people know this, but I tend to paint a lot when
Oh wow.
I'm stressed. Like, it's random.
Mm.
No one knows about it actually. I paint, and I also, like, oh my gosh, I don't tell anyone this, but I write poems. And then
Oh
also,
wow.
yeah. And then, yeah, obviously I cook a lot. I love cooking. Like, I actually love
Hmm.
cooking. Yeah, and then making my own recipes, and then also, like, with Christianity, like, I'm obviously very passionate with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. I didn't realize you painted and made poems. That's pretty cool. What have you painted recently?
A lemon.
A lemon. Okay, pretty cool.
A lemon.
Lemon. Okay. Lemon. Is there a reason why you decided to paint a lemon, or was it just because of like why not just paint a lemon?
I was like, why not just paint a lemon?
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. How about the poem part's really interesting because I personally like sometimes write a diary, but I've never seen someone like personally never seen someone write a poem. It's hard, I would assume, because you like are your poems in your opinion like pretty good?
It's only good if I'm heartbroken.
Oh, so it's a way
Yeah.
to like convey emotions, right? Like you just
Yeah.
write poems. I see. Fair enough. That fair enough.
Hmm.
It's like when you're having a bad day, that's you're more likely
Hmm.
to write a better poem than if you're having a good day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see. Fair enough. Fair enough. You mentioned cooking and you mentioned your own recipes. I just want to know, is there a recipe you could share that you're really like proud of making?
These ribs. I don't really have a recipe. I
Ooh.
just throw in a lot of things because I don't have exact measurements. When you cook, you gotta feel it out. Like, that's like, you
Feel
can't
it
just
out.
rely. You can't just rely on measurements. You gotta be. I mean, of course, I'm Asian.
Just
I learned from my mom,
yeah.
but yeah. So yeah, there's like not really a lot of measurements, but
Hmm.
I made these really really good ribs, like short
Hmm.
ribs. But I don't know if I can remember. Like, if I'm in my kitchen, I just know what to do. But if
I
you ask
see.
me to write it out, I'm
It
just
doesn't
like,
work.
yeah, I was like, I don't know.
I
I
see.
don't know.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, just click in when you're sharing the kids. That's pretty cool. And you
Yeah.
just chuck stuff right into it and just hope for the
Chuck
best.
stuff, it's so good though. Like, it's so good.
Okay. I mean, that's also true because I think you're originally from Austin, Texas, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's like where some of the influence also takes part.
Hmm. Yeah, the ribs.
If do you think that you're because of like the fact that you're from Austin and you're also Vietnamese, do you think that the cultures sometimes collide, or are you more of like, okay, I got Austin, I got Vietnam, let's just mash them together and see what happens?
I would say with Austin, like, it's actually the culture's way, 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 way different. When if you're talking about
Hmm.
Austin and Vietnam. Obviously, like I feel like I'm more connected to Vietnamese culture because I've been here my whole life.
Of
But with
course,
Austin, it's
yes.
like for me, I feel like a foreigner in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so different. Like they call the toilet the restroom, and then like they call soccer, but they call it soccer, and then they call American football football.
Which is
Yeah,
confusing too.
yeah, I know,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's just like yeah, it's really confusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also strange. Because here you would say the toilet, but like back in like the U.S. and like Austin, you might yeah restroom, bathroom. That's also
Yeah,
true. Do you think that so just so so it's hard for you to adapt to it, and is that what you're trying to say?
yeah,
That's I mean that's a fair point because you've been here for your whole life, like you said, so that's
yeah.
understandable. Has there been like a funny like kitchen episode and like lessons you learned from the kitchen that you want to share with us? Because I've done some crazy stuff in the kitchen. I've learned a lot. I just want to know what you've learned from the kitchen by experience.
Yeah, I've learned to not cut frozen meat because it's like almost. I actually almost got my finger chopped off.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel it's not. I don't know if it's a funny moment or not, but it's pretty dangerous. Like I was cutting frozen meat because I was too impatient. Yeah, don't be impatient.
Don't
Okay.
be impatient.
Yeah,
I see.
I got really impatient, and so I just wanted to like cut the meat and just get on with it. But and
Oh
then it
no.
slipped, and then it cut like almost like this part out. It was
Slides
like
down to your finger.
halfway through, like through the meat, not the bone yet. And I was
Wow.
happy. I was just like, I looked at it. I was like, oh my
Nope.
gosh. I
I'm
was like,
not
oh my
doing this
gosh.
again.
I was like, yeah,
Lesson learned. Don't cut
yeah,
frozen meat. Hmm.
yeah.
Do you also like do you I just want to know, right, when you're can you like peel a carrot? Because I don't know the peeling thing, right? Just scares me so much. Does it scare you too?
No, 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 no. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because
No.
oh,
Can you,
I recently peeled truffles. Like the truffle mushroom.
whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
Truffle
I
mush.
didn't have the truffle. Like I got it gifted from a cousin, but I didn't
Yeah.
have the truffle slicer, so I had to use
Yeah.
a carrot peeler to peel it.
No.
But
Actually,
honestly, it worked. No, it
it
worked.
worked.
I
And
made
it
fresh
tasted good
truffle
too.
oil. It was so good. Yeah.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Are you good at cutting? Because I can't cut. I don't know like how the professionals do. I can cut food, right? I can cut and it's okay, but it's not like the ones that you see like Master Chef and like old like the famous chefs do it. Can like how good's your cooking skill?
My cooking skills are good, but I don't think my cutting skills are good.
Cutting
I
skill.
feel I feel like I would spend like 90% of the time cutting the stuff instead of
Okay.
cooking it. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it because
Hmm.
of the knife incident. I don't want to pick up a big
I
knife ever
see.
again. And so I use like those little bread knives to like cut my stuff.
Oh, like butter knives. Not
Yeah.
nothing too sharp, but nothing. I
Yeah.
see. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hmm.
Do you also cook like new stuff often, or is that do you not do that?
New stuff, of course, because I find like recipes. Oh yeah, I've been really interested in like the carnivore diet. Like I did
Oh.
it for like 2 weeks before I went to America. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like I know it's like a lot of controversy, but honestly, it was like I felt so good for 2 weeks. And then I went to America. I got back on like my normal diet again, and it was just crazy. It was like so much bloating and everything. So yeah, because of that, I kind of want to go back to that carnivore diet. But I love
Hmm.
pasta too much. Like I love it so
Yeah.
much. But still, there's new
Pasta.
recipes, so I'm trying to find new recipes.
I see. That's pretty cool. Does that mean wait, the carnivore diet's like morning, breakfast, dinner is just meat.
Just red meat, yeah,
Oh
and
wow.
eggs.
No white meat, just
No,
red
I mean you can still have some,
like
but
chicken for example.
yeah, yeah.
I see. If you could like rank the meats, what do you think is like number one, number two, and etc.
Number one, of course, beef. I love beef.
Beef.
It's
Num-
steak tartars, everything steaks. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
mm.
Number two, I'd
Number
say
two?
pork. Pork,
Ooh. Okay.
because yeah, I like the fatty area. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
why I like
Like
the fatty
you
area.
can't go wrong with a pork belly, can you?
Yeah, yeah. I just
Mhm.
had them today. And
Okay.
then yeah, my last is chicken. I hate chicken. Oh
Oh,
my
you
gosh.
hate chicken.
Yeah, I hate chicken.
Oh wow.
Especially chicken breast. Like I know it's a lot of
Yeah, chicken.
protein.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so bland though. Like yeah,
So
I hate
bland.
chicken. I hate chicken.
Wait, so you don't like fried? Wait, so you don't like fried chicken then?
No, no,
Unless
I
it's a
like
chicken.
fried chicken. That's like
Oh,
flavorful. I like chicken when it's flavorful.
flavorful. As long as
Yeah.
it's flavorful, it's okay.
Yeah.
I see. And I guess I'm assuming that beef is the most easiest to make it be flavorful.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair
I
enough.
love
Yeah.
beef. I like the texture as well. So yeah.
Mm, cool. Do you also like trying different like have you tried different parts of beef before?
Yeah, of course. Like
What's your
the
favorite part?
tongue.
The
My
tongue. Yeah,
favorite.
I tried the tongue. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My favorite part. I don't really have a favorite part because I like everything. Oh my gosh, I like. Oh my gosh,
Fair enough.
I like bone marrow. Like the bone
Bone
marrow.
marrow. Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like
I
it's
don't
pretty
know.
fatty. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Personal experience, I had bone marrow with a friend in a friend's leaving party. I
Hmm.
don't know, man. I don't know. It is fatty. It is flavorful, but I'm not.
Sometimes
I
it's
don't.
just too much.
Yeah, I think that's what my experience. I think it was a bit too much for
Yeah,
me.
that was like my first time trying it, and then I
But
just
I know a lot of
ever
people
since
who
I got
enjoy it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Ever since I got into the carnivore diet, I've been craving that like so much. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see. If you, do you can you also list like your favorite cuisines from like from whatever ranking from 1 to 3? Because
Okay,
I'm a
one, two.
big foodie and I
Oh my
take
gosh,
food really seriously.
me too.
Could you could no one's messing with my food. Could you rank
Yeah,
like your
exactly.
favorite cuisines?
Cuisines. Okay,
Hmm.
if it was like, I would say Chinese on top. I would
Whoa,
say
me too.
Chinese. I love Chinese food.
I love
And
Chinese
then,
food.
yeah. And then my second would be, I would say, like, oh my gosh, I can't decide between Japanese or Italian.
Ooh, those are pretty hard decisions.
Yeah. But
They're
I would
all
say,
good.
like,
Yeah,
around there. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Do you mean Chinese food as in like Chinese food or like Chinese as in like American Chinese food?
No, I don't like American Chinese food, bro. That's so. No,
You don't
that is
like
not
Panda
real.
Express, none of that
No,
stuff.
no, no. Oh my gosh. That is like the last thing I would ever eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your like go-to order in a Chinese restaurant? Like you're hungry and
Oh my gosh. Peking
what's your
duck.
go-to? Okay,
Peking duck.
that's pretty good too. Yep,
Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Because my ranking is pretty simple. I'm also surprised. Why is Viet food not up there? Because Viet food's pretty good. Viet food
Oh
hits
my gosh.
sometimes.
It hits like like it just hits sometimes though. Like I
Sometimes
don't
you think?
like for me, I have it so often to the point where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, that's normal. But there's like a
I
lot of
see.
Viet foods where like, I really like, but it's not my top.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I got a question for you. I've lived in Vietnam for like 15 years. We're approaching 16 soon. I've tried food in Hanoi. I've tried food in the South. I had a lot of different cuisine, a lot of different types of Viet food. Is there a underrated Viet food that you think I should try and expand my palate? Because I love Viet food.
Um okay, let me see. I I don't know. I don't It's not really a food, but it's a fruit.
Go ahead. What is it?
It's either like it's not really Viet, but it's like more Asian. But it's like durian or mangosteen. It's like my two
Ooh,
favorites.
I've never
It's
had durian. I've had mangosteen before, which is pretty cool, but durian.
yeah.
I'll try durian.
I
I'll
like
get back
durian.
to you.
I like durian.
Do you like
Yeah,
durian? 'Cause
I like
I heard
durian.
like if it smells bad, but once you take a bite, it tastes different.
For me, I think it smells good. It smells fine for me. Like I know a lot of people. It smells like apparently it smells really stinky, but I think
Yeah,
it's like yeah. It just depends on like the type of person.
interesting. You mentioned like you like pasta a lot. What's your favorite pasta?
Well, I like carbonara. but it's
Hmm.
not the ones with the cream in it because that's not authentic. But I like the real authentic ones with just
Like the
eggs and cheese.
yeah,
It's
the
really
ones
good.
with guanciale and not bacon.
Yeah. Conjure and not bacon. Yeah,
Hmm. Fair
yeah.
enough. That's all.
You know yourself. You know
You know
yourself.
your stuff too. You know
Yeah,
your stuff too. That's. Have you tried cooking like these foods at home? Because I want to be
of
honest with
course,
you. I tried. You tried it before? What did you
of
What did you
course.
cook?
I cooked carbonara, of course,
Okay. Yep.
and then I made this truffle pasta, which is I just
Ooh,
loaded it with truffle, like fresh truffle, like I
I
got from a
see.
cousin. It was so good, honestly. It's the best thing
That's
ever.
pretty cool. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about a lot of food. We talked a lot about we talked about like school, social lives. We talked about what else we talked about. Oh yeah, we got to talk about religion. I know you're really religious.
Ah.
You're a strong Christian. You have
Mm,
moral values you stand by. I want to know like how like from a scale from 1 to 10, like how devoted are you? Because I know a lot of Christians, like for example, they're not as devoted, but they still go to church. Or
yeah.
like me, for example, I believe in Christianity, but I just don't go to church. Like, do you like? Is it something like you like wholeheartedly believe and it's your utmost priority to like follow it? I just want to know.
Because I used to be an atheist before and kind of
Mm-hmm.
I got
Mm-hmm.
into like witchcraft and everything. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like because of that it made my faith stronger, and so now I feel like with my faith it's out of like either an 8 or a 9, because not a 10. When it comes to faith wise it's a 10, but when it comes to practices, like
Mm-hmm.
when you look at my life and then you compare it, you know, to the Bible and stuff and what God says, I would say it's just like around a 7, 8, because of
I see.
course we're all sinners. We still do things. We still makes mistakes, and so of course, like that's why I rank it as, 7, 8. But I try to change and I try to get
Mm-hmm.
rid of old habits as much as possible and learn from my mistakes.
Absolutely. That's so true.
Hmm.
Is it a deal breaker if someone like if you're trying to make a friend but they're not religious? Because I feel like the big like that in my opinion that's not a deal breaker, but that's more of if the person disrespects that, that's a deal breaker. I just want to know, is that also the same for you?
If they're not, I have a lot of friends who are atheists,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it's like, honestly, I'm going to relate it back to the Bible, but it's like how Jesus sat on a table with sinners, but he didn't become the sinner himself.
I
And
see. You
so
stayed
that,
moral and stayed to
yeah,
his words.
yeah. So
I
of course
see.
I try to, help my friends with their morals. Like I don't force
Mm-hmm.
them into religion, but if they do want to talk to me about it, I'm always open to talk to them about it. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to project my morals onto them because, of course, I always want better for my friends. But with me, when
Absolutely.
it comes to
Yes.
respect, that's a deal breaker. Always a deal breaker.
Mm,
Yeah.
I see. Cool. Cool. Vic, that's all the questions that I've wanted to ask. It is so cool that I got to know more about you and talked about the life stories and experiences. Usually at the end of my podcast, I usually give some time for here the guest to ask me a couple of questions, a lot of questions if they want to. Feel free to hit me if any questions. I'll be more than likely to answer them. You can fire away.
I would like to ask you, what made you want to do this podcast and what was your aim for it?
Hmm. I'm sure a lot of the viewers would know a lot, but I've started this podcast because well, if I explain it really in a nutshell, I was in a dark place and I wasn't really feeling really happy about myself. I was tough. Like I remember 2022 was a pretty tough year for me. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't feeling good. I was really down, but I started listening to a lot of podcasts, and one that always struck me and made me laugh was the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't know how he does it, but the way he just entertains with the guests, it's so cool. And I was like, hey, like why not try this and make myself feel better, and that's how I got started into it. And I wanted to base the podcast around like life stories and experiences because
Mhm.
I feel like I'm someone that's really empathetic, and I think
Mhm.
that's one of my biggest strengths, personally speaking. So that's why I started the podcast, hence the name "Live, Laugh, and Love," because I want to be
Yeah.
empathetic, learn what the students are, what my fellow peers are experiencing, and give them suggestions if they want to talk about things that they don't, they've always wanted to talk about. That's the reason why I've started Live, Laugh, and Love.
Yeah.
It's been such a precious part of me. Like the last 4 months, yeah, 4 months. It's been no, take that back, 3 months. Yeah, it's been so fun just talking to people,
Yeah.
like setting up this whole thing, getting to learn more
Yeah.
about the people and talk about life experience and stories that I might not be able to in like school, for example, and from like
Mhm.
a more intimate one-on-one conversation. That's the reason why I started the podcast. Your second question regarding to like the goals.
Mhm.
Uh, if we're talking like statistically, the goal for Live, Laugh, and Love was get a video, 100 views, and we're starting season two, which will be achieved early on. We
Yeah.
achieved early, thanks to you because you were you're a fan since day one, uh,
Yeah.
helping me promote it. Which thank you so much. But if we're
Yeah.
talking about what I wanted to do aside from the stats, I wanted to talk to as many people as I can that I wouldn't talk to a lot in school and learn more
Mhm.
about them and just connect with them somehow and uh, pretty much talk out things that they wanted to. And I just want to be that person that will be there, that they might not, think that I might be.
Yeah.
For example, like when I was deep in that 2022, like I had,
Mhm.
like it was hard finding people talking to,
Yeah.
and I
It
just want to
was.
make sure that I want to be that person if people are going through that same thing because it's a dark place. I
Yeah. It
mean, it's a
is.
pretty dark place, and not a lot of people know this because I'm always like laughing, I'm happy,
Mhm.
I'm trying to be humorous, but at the same time I'm being stupid. Like I'm a 16-year-old kid who's trying to have fun,
Yeah.
but deep down, like there were there are periods for a long period of time I wasn't feeling happy at all. I
Yeah.
was rock
Yeah.
bottom, and that's why
Mhm.
yeah, and I just want to make sure that people don't experience that, and I'll be there if they need to.
Mhm. Yeah. I see.
Do you have any other
Yeah.
questions?
What was the greatest lesson you've learned from talking to all these people so far?
Oh wow. Okay. Good question. Greatest lesson I've learned from talking from these people so far. Um, we're 16, 17-year olds, okay?
Yeah.
We make mistakes. We are teenagers and we're bound to make mistakes, and that's fine. The most
Mhm.
important thing is at the age where we think that we're all different and unique,
Mhm.
we're the same teenagers. We have so many similar experiences that just overlap with one another. And I think the most important thing is we should I feel like we should be vulnerable, i.e., like, hey, if you got a problem, talk it out with a friend.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed so many like overlapping not problems, but like worries that a lot of students have, which 100%, I feel them too. But I found it quite interesting that we're really similar. Because I would
Mhm.
expect that as my life and your life, we're all like unique beings and we would have different conversations, different life experiences. But it's really intriguing to see how we actually are quite similar, and
Yeah.
that's a lesson I've learned, that we're just teenagers and we experience things that are, I don't know if it's destiny, but it's normal, I guess, and we
Mhm.
should speak out about it, and it's totally normal about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Do you have any other questions you want to ask?
No, not
No.
anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Vic, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to the final episode of Live, Laugh, and Love. It is my absolute pleasure to have a fan from day one finish off the finale episode of this season. To all the viewers out there, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all the supports. I don't know if I could have made it without you guys. The talk we have in schools, the DMs, the the I don't know, like all the interactions, they were so important in me actually trying to make this work. Thank you to all the guests that have participated. I know it's been a lot of, I'm taking a lot of time from your important lives. And big thank you for coming in and spending like what nearly an hour of your important Thursday night. Wherever you get your podcast, uh, wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Just want to say, make sure to leave us a review, give us a thumbs up. It is really meaningful. And with all these comments and like these suggestions, it is my goal to make sure I push the best content out there, so y'all can enjoy the best content that I made. I can't believe I'm saying this for the last time for this season, but not the last time for this year. Um, Thank you guys. I'm your host, David. Vic, do you want to say anything before we end?
I just want to say goodbye. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the love, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye bye.